Alright, hello everyone, welcome back to something new. We are moving forward in our Madden lives now, with the Bengals series now done, finito. If that wasn't obvious from the final episode where we missed the playoffs, we are now in something new, doing something new. This time we've moved a year ahead to the quote-unquote new release, and that is Madden 2002. And if you can tell from the thumbnail or the title or what is on screen, you can see that we are going to be doing the Dallas Cowboys. So I wanted to go to the NFC. I try to alternate back and forth. So I started off with the Cardinals series when I started my channel. That didn't get very far, and the next one I chose was the Bengals in the AFC. So we're moving back to the NFC now, with football season right around the corner, and we are choosing them boys. How about them boys? The reason I chose the Cowboys is an interesting one because I don't think I need to explain to you what happened to the Cowboys in the 90s, but in case you're unaware, they had a little bit of a dynasty, just a small little bit of a dynasty, and did a lot of good things with Troy Aikman, Michael Irvin, and so on. So what happened after that? Well, they would kind of stumble out of the 90s, kind of trying to maintain that dynasty, that pace, and they were unable to do so. And so they went into the 2000s, kind of looking to restart all over again. They hired coach Dave Campos, who went 5-11 for 3 straight years before he was gone, and then things would kind of start to take a different turn in the mid to late 2000s. Things would start to look up for the Cowboys. So still haven't done anything. Just got to throw that in there for the Cowboys fans. Still haven't done anything, but they at least are a better team, I guess. I don't know. you be the judge of that. So we are going to take over the Cowboys theoretically after that 1 year of Dave Campos. So the 2000-2001 season is where, is the season we were taking over after that preceding season. So the 01-02 season, which is the season in this game. Jeez, couldn't have said that any more convoluted. But so essentially, we're changing history so that Dave Campos is a one-and-done coach. Jerry saw the 5-11 season and said, no, that's not what the Cowboys need to be doing. We need to be a heck of a lot better than that. So they hired me. And who is me? Well, I like to kind of role play as the GM more so, and the coach is kind of a different person. That's how we did it in the Bengals one. But that series that went on for so long, I had forgotten what our coach's name even was. So I'm going to create a new coach, and we'll cut back in here when we got him. All right, our coach is going to be Mr. Will Newton, and theoretically, what I'm going to make up, the story for Mr. Will Newton I'm going to make up is that he was one of the coordinators in that first season on the Bengals squad, from the old regime, and he got let go. So this is where he is now. They're going to give him a shot here in Dallas because Jerry doesn't make the best hiring decisions. Maybe does that make sense? Probably not, but we'll go with it. The thing that is big and different here, in case you didn't notice on the settings I have, is coaching changes is going to be on. So the thing about coaching changes is that that includes you, but if you turn it off, that includes everybody else, if that makes sense. So in the Bengals series, we didn't get any coaching turnover. That's probably why a lot of the teams stayed the exact same roster-wise, because there was no turnover. So in this one, I'm going to keep that on, but now we have the added risk of getting fired if we don't create results by the game's own standard. Because in the Bengals series, I probably would have lost my job probably during the 5th or even the 4th season, because of the approval rating system, I think. Because we finished in year 6, 8-8, with like a 36 or 38% approval rating. So we for sure would have gotten fired, even though we were 8-8. That's why I took it off, because the game's logic doesn't make a ton of sense all the time. So, but we're gonna leave it on this time here, and we're gonna see if we can keep our job long term. So the first things first, let's get through our roster and see how things are shaping up. Okay. So, at the quarterback position, oh my God. Okay. I knew that Quincy Carter was with us. I didn't know this was his rookie season in this game, and he was a 60 overall. So I was kind of excited to maybe have a chance of using Quincy Carter, but that's clearly not going to happen. So we are stuck with Tony Banks right now. Tony Banks, if you were unaware, it was the quarterback for the Ravens in the previous year, I think. It doesn't have his last year's stats on here. It doesn't even have his team. But yeah, I'm pretty sure he came from Baltimore. he was the one who was quarterbacking the Ravens for our entire Bengals series, and here he is as our starting quarterback here in Dallas. So that is interesting. At running back, we of course have Emmitt Smith. He is an old Emmitt Smith, but we do have Emmitt Smith. So let me see. I need to probably go down to maybe release player. Yeah, because I also want to talk about contracts. Let's see if I can talk about it all in one fell swoop. So here we go. Wow, Quincy Carter on that rookie deal. So it's kind of important that we use Quincy Carter since he's making the most money of any quarterback on the roster, and he's here the longest. But he's a 60 overall, brother. I cannot swing that. I can't make sense of that. And Tony Banks is on a cheap deal. Fortunately, it looks like this is like a prove-it deal. Like, hey man, you got a year to prove that you can be a starter in the league, and then you can go and do that wherever you want. And you should mentor Quincy Carter. But I'm not sure if that's how that's going to go. We need a better quarterback, kind of off rip. And Emmitt Smith is, of course, making a boatload of money for the next 3 years. So regardless whether Emmitt Smith finishes those 3 years, we are stuck with him for 3 years at the minimum, making $5 million. And with only $10 million worth of cap room, that might not be the best. That might not be great. We might have our work cut out for us. So fullback, we have a... Oh my goodness, what is this? Why are you here? Making 1.20. See, the biggest thing, too, is trying to figure out the money situation for these teams because, Lord have mercy, they get themselves into a bit of a pickle, don't they? Receiving core is pretty great. We have Joey Galloway here, who's, oh my God, $6.2 million. Gee, for 5 years. Oh my God. Oh my God. This is for sure a team that was trying to win it all and could not do it. Regib? Ishmael, making 3. I guess that's decent. I don't know. For an 83 overall, $3 million is still a lot. We never paid that much money in Madden 01 for any of our star players, and the Cowboys are paying like top dollar for their star players and have zero depth anywhere else, like nowhere else. This is bad. So it's very top loaded. The tight end situation, we don't need both of these guys. Come on now. We could literally sign a free agent to be the backup and get rid of one of these guys, and that's probably what's going to happen. Alright, so the O-line situation, we only have one left tackle. So Larry Allen, of course, at left guard here. Wow, 3.2 for 96 overall. See, this is what I'm talking about. This is what I want. For the next 3 years, I want more of that. Do they do holdouts in this game? Because if he holds out, we are screwed. Okay, so again, oh my goodness. No, that's got to be fixed now. Before a game is played, this has to be fixed. Yeah, there's a lot of work that's got to be done, ladies and germs. This O-line is atrocious, man. We have a really bad... So outside of Larry Allen, there's really nothing on the O-line worth talking about. And then let's go to the D-line now. Don't have anyone on the left side. All right, at least we have Greg Ellis, maybe, I guess. And there's no one at D-tackle. We have like 7 of these guys, and they're all terrible. What is this? Dude, this is horrendous. This roster construction, I don't even know how I could fix this. This might be a quick series, ladies and germs, because I don't know if I'll be able to even manage this. This is horrendous. Oh, man, PU. I should have done a trial run of this series to figure this out. Dat Nguyen, man, he's Dat Nguyen. I love Dat Nguyen. He's just, I don't know, one of those players you just kind of love. But I wish he was a little bit better. So the linebacking core is bad. Oh my gosh. Dexter Coakley, you're making almost mid-4s for the next 6 years. No. No. If he gets better, if that progresses, because he's only a 4-year pro, so if that progresses to like a high 80 by the time that contract's like halfway done, that won't be terrible, but for right now, that's really bad. Kareem Larimore is our starting CB at 71. Dude, there's just so many position groups that are just so undervalued on this team. I don't know what the process was in building this roster. I'm genuinely confused. I don't know where any of that comes from. Like, there's just nothing here. And, of course, Darren Woodson here at 91. See, 3.1 at 91 overall, but that's only for the next year. So we have one more year of Darren Woodson. That might even be a trade piece. And we don't have a kicker. Oh, man. See, I thought I would be able to do any roster building like in this video while I was talking and narrating, but dude, I might need to pause and just like go to free agency, go find trades and stuff, because this is bad. I don't know what the hell we're gonna do with this. So, all right, let's calm down and see if we can figure this out. So, we need a quarterback. We don't have a quarterback. Our O-line needs completely redone. We have no depth at the receiver position. We're spending too much money on it. We have over $9 million tied up in two guys for the next 10 years, and there's nothing else after that. So I guess maybe if you're betting on these two guys starting every single game, then this isn't a terrible situation to be in. But we probably need at least one more guy that can probably be in that like mid 70s that could catch balls for us, because I'm not just going to rely on these two dudes. They're both pretty old as well. So, yeah, the receiving situation's got to be figured out. And then, yeah, one of these tight ends can go for sure. We'll probably definitely keep Jackie Harris and get rid of David LaFleur, because there's no reason to keep him. And then sign someone cheap out of FA. And then I don't know if there's anything I can do to the O-line right now. I could probably definitely fix the right guard situation. This definitely is not going to stay. We cannot have 250 overalls as our right guard. So that's definitely going to get fixed like now. And then the D-line situation, I could probably fix the D-tackle situation right now. Dude, if I could just cut these guys. I don't want the cap penalties, but if I could just cut these guys, dude. Oh, man. None of these guys need to be here at all. A lot of these guys are going to be gone, though. We'll only be stuck with a few of them after this year. So maybe we just stick it out. Maybe I sign like one good D-tackle and just kind of live with it. The linebacking core I could probably just live with. We could probably just live with it for now. Money and overall wise, because the other two linebackers are pretty cheap, and we're just putting all of our money on Dexter Coakley. That's essentially how you could look at it. And then DB, there might be another DB I could sign to at least be on the other side of Kareem Larimore. And then other than that, I think we could probably stick it out. So, did anyone write that down? Because we also got to replace kicker as well. So, a kicker, another DB, another D tackle, a right guard for sure, and then a quarterback most likely, and maybe a receiver. So, I am going to, I guess, cut away and just see if I can figure that out in free agency really quick. I guess I'll come back in if I have a new and improved roster that maybe looks a bit more respectable. I don't know. Alright, folks, I got good news and bad news. So, the good news is I was able to fix most of the roster problems through free agency. The bad news is I can't fix quarterback, so we're stuck with Tony Banks. The best quarterback in free agency right now is Trent Dilfer at 74 overall, which is an improvement over Tony Banks. But for the money and stuff and contracts and getting rid of Tony Banks, it makes more sense to just keep Tony Banks. So that looks like what we'll probably do. And honestly, I'm tempted to start Quincy Carter. Honestly, I just YOLO and just start Quincy Carter. I don't know. That's such a big fall off. We'll see where we're at after this year, but it's not a good situation. Honestly, I don't know how well we'll do. I'm concerned. But at the rest of the roster, so the receiver, I signed Derek Mays. Hold on, let me go back to the contract situation here, so we can actually see what we're dealing with here. Okay, I signed Derek Mays to a 1-year, $1.80 million contract. He's going to be receiver 3, just in case one of these guys gets injured, or forever running 3 receivers on the field. We actually have a guy who can catch footballs and isn't one of these scrubs down here. We're going to let all these guys probably go after the season. We just got to make it through that first year, guys. We just have to make it through and not lose our jobs. I don't know if that's going to happen because this game is a little finicky. And then I was able to trade LaFleur for a 4th from the Dolphins, and I signed A.J. Ofadile to be our backup tight end. I don't plan on using him, but, he's there. And then at the right guard situation, I brought back a familiar face from the Bengals dynasty. Brian DeMarco is now here as our starting right guard here at 1.5 for 1 year. I signed everyone to 1-year deals just because of our cap situation. Because we have to make it through free agency again. We have to sign our draft class after this first season. So, I don't want to have a ton of money wrapped up for the next couple of years. We already have a lot of 1-year deals, like expiring deals on this team as it is. So I'm going to see what the team looks like once all that money is gone, and then we'll have a better picture of who we can sign long term and who we can keep. So moving ahead, I signed Tony McCoy to a 1.35 2-year deal to be our D tackle, I guess, our best D tackle. He wanted multiple years for some reason. I didn't change the money. He wanted 1.35 for 1 year, and I just added a year, so he's making less money, I guess. But he just wanted to be on the team for multiple years, so that's fine. And then I was able to trade a backup linebacker Bowen, I think was his name, and I traded him to the Falcons for another fourth-round pick. So we're stacking up on the fourth-rounders because that's super valuable in Madden for some reason. I signed Terrell Buckley to a 1-year, $1.9 deal. He's an older guy, but he's going to lock down the corner position as good as he can. I was going to get Craig Newsome, another familiar Bengals face, but I tried to avoid it. So. The next big move here is I cut our kicker. That's why we have $300K in cap penalties. He's only making $500. We got to pay out the $300s, whatever. And then we signed Doug Bryan to be our kicker for this season. He's a 72 overall. So that is what the roster looks like. So I changed up as much as I could. I'm going to mess with the coach options and then the sim settings before we get into anything, but I'm going to do that off camera. And the last thing we're going to do in this first episode is we're going to look through our first season and see if we can even make it to a year 2, because there's a good chance that we don't. And I would hate to get fired after 1 year because it seems like a fun one to do, a very challenging rebuild to do, but old Maddens are old Maddens, and we could easily go like 6-10, and it could be like, yep, you're fired, son. You get out of here. I'm like, all right. Clearly we had to rebuild this year, but the game doesn't think so. So anyway, so we start our season off with the Buccaneers at home. We'll probably watch this game, and then we go on the road to Pontiac to play the Lions, and then we have the Chargers back at home in week 3. Then we go on the road to face the Eagles and the Vet in week 4. Then we have our bye week in week 5. Remember the Bengals had a bye week in week 1? Gross. We come out of our bye week on Monday Night Football and play the Skins before hitting the road, actually, and playing the Raiders in Oakland. Then we come home and have the Cardinals before hitting a nice little road trip to New York and Atlanta to play the Giants and Falcons. Then we have the Eagles and Broncos at home back-to-back before we hit the road to play the Skins in D.C., in Landover, Maryland, if you will. And then we have the Giants at home, and then we finish off here with a 2-week road stint in Seattle and in Arizona before finishing off with the Niners at home. So that is our schedule. This one is actually real to real life, so you can just look it up and see it if you forget. But it's right here. This is our whole schedule. So not a terrible schedule, I don't think. I will show the division, because in Madden 02, the reason I chose Madden 02 is because it still is the last year of the old NFL with all the old divisions and stuff before the Texans joined. But the Texans do join in this game. They have an expansion draft and everything. So I figured that would be a lot more fun to try and rebuild around as well. So take a look at the old NFC East. Here it is in all of its glory. So in the East, we have the Cardinals. It's pretty much the only change is that we have the Cardinals. Remember, in the Bengals series, we had, the Titans and the Jaguars. We had half of the AFC South with us. But in this one, we just have the Cardinals. So they're going to move after this season. And then it's, pretty much the NFC East as normal. The Cowboys, Eagles, Giants, and Redskins. But this is our division that we're going to have to get through. I think we'll be able to, we won't be able to hang with anyone. We're bad. We're a bad team. We're like a really bad team. So either way. So in the next episode, we are going to get into this game against the Buccaneers. So I'm going to mess with all the settings and stuff so the game is at least fun to watch, hopefully, because I know the Madden 02 sim isn't as fun or doesn't work as well as the Madden 01 does. So I'm going to see if I can break with the sliders and maybe make a little bit better gameplay. So but yeah, the Buccaneers are going to stomp us because this is a Super Bowl caliber team that we're going to go up against at home. So hope to see you guys in that next episode. We have a very challenging rebuild ahead of us. Hopefully we don't lose our job after the first season. But if we do, then hey, you'll get another new Madden series very, very quickly if you don't like the Cowboys. So either way, hope to see you guys in that next episode.